Hi, Jordy Ayton here, just taking you through the differences between the standard single will and our new short will. And on your left is the compared version. The top is your standard single will, and the bottom is your short will. And what we tried to do is take some of the provisions that we didn't really think were necessary in some more simple situations or typical situations, and remove them from the short will, and thus make a shorter will for your clients. So you can see this is Jennifer Melissa's Craig's will, and one of the major differences as we go through it are the funds and plans section. We took basically it was broken down into a whole bunch of subparagraphs, and we've made it one paragraph now. And that'll handle your typical gift of funds and plans. We've shortened the revocation clause. We now have a new family clause here in the short will that sets out all of the family members, so we don't need them in the definition section, because one of the major differences is that we got rid of the definition section. So you will see, here's the definition section for the standard will, and we've gotten rid of most of those provisions. And if we do need them, we've put them at the end of the document rather than at the beginning. So then we get right down to the executors and trustees, and you can see, rather than again using subparagraphs, we put them all in one paragraph, and it will do everything that you need it to do in that single paragraph. Then we've got the vesting clause, which is pretty much the same, but a little bit simpler. And then the payments of debts clause that we've combined into a single paragraph. The disposition of personal effects, we've tried to clean that up. We no longer use in the short will the definition of personal effects. So we've just used a general set of descriptions. And we've made that a little bit shorter, gotten rid of some of the paragraphs and combined them. You're not going to want to use the short will if you're doing a trust for personal effects, for example. But in your typical everything to the spouse, then divided among the kids kind of thing, you can certainly use the short will for that. So then we get right into the residue of the estate, and the residue is basically the same under both wills. We haven't really changed any of the dispositive provisions because we want you to be able to use the short will regardless of what you're doing as far as the plan goes. So we haven't sort of, created a situation where you do something in estate and it doesn't generate. It will always generate. The short will is more useful though when you don't have long, complicated trusts, for example. You can use it certainly for trusts for kids, etc. But you can see that the residue clause is pretty much the same, as is the ultimate distribution clause. So those are basically the same. We've shortened the beneficiaries under certain age, that general clause for any other people. And we've just combined it into one paragraph. And basically it's very similar, but you can look at the differences on the left. And then the administrative provisions. That's where things really have been changed, in that we've removed a whole bunch of them and combined them where we felt comfortable doing so. And you can certainly go through the checklist and see how they differ, but we've taken away some of the less necessary provisions. And of course, it's on you to make sure that you're comfortable with the short will, but that's what we've done for the most part. We've put in the key ones like holding, postponing, sale, selling, investing, making interim in specie distributions, things like that, where we felt they were necessary. But but for the most part, we've certainly shortened that up and removed some of the other clauses. For example, protection of trustees, we've removed that, etc. So then we get all the way down. We, of course, still have the income tax, the compensation provisions, same kind of thing, but we did delete the replacement of trustees. So that is no longer in the short will. If you feel like you need that, then obviously you can either use the standard will, or you could always generate the standard will and cut and paste it. Although probably don't want to do that all that often. We've obviously kept the exclusion from net family property. And as you can see, we've put the definitions near the end, the ones that we think are crucial for us. And that's it. And it still has a guide. So that's the difference between the standard will and the short will. Thanks.